Yeah, but why would you can dress like this? Guy. No, you can't. That's a t-shirt.
Inside.
A bit you see how the colleague is dressed. Now you look like you're an officer out there. Okay.
Why is it off my hair? Yes. So that people should not sample me.
Yeah. One, where's
God, for points, eh?
calling?
Hmm? No. Tell me. I need to remove it. Yes, because tell me to get my. In case I lose my words.
It's important. Important. All right. Yeah. So, what to do is that, by the way, I would want you to open.
Wow.
Oh. I want you to open. Uh, yeah. So basically, all we're doing is to do a summary of this particular press briefing, and also the
Welcome to Zambia Decides Election Updates right here at Mulungushi International Conference Center, where it is the National Totaling Center for Presidential Results. And a few minutes ago, we had a briefing by ECZ CEO, Dr. Brown Kasaro, who was briefing the nation on the next updates of the election time. So we will be having another update, announcements of results at 13 hours and as well at 20 hours. My name is Jessie Kalambo, and I'm with my colleague right here.
My name is Innocent Piri. Of course, we are live at Mlungushi International Conference Center, as my colleague Jesse has mentioned. But of course, it's been a busy day and night in the last 3 days, from Thursday to today, which is Saturday. We are still being stationed right here at the National Results Totaling Center for the presidential elections. But of course, beyond that, we've gone and visited different constituencies in as far as the 2026 general election is concerned. Jesse, quite interesting, and I'm so grateful to see you here now. Joining me was been here more like a lone soldier.
I'm glad to be here actually, and looking at how that emotions were flaring up around this particular arena. So you can tell that the country at large is eager to get to find out the final results.
Yes, of course, the nation is anxious and also curious to know which office bearers they have voted for and which ones are going to take over the affairs of the country for the next 5 years from now. Yeah, so all that it is what is happening here at Mungushi International Conference Center. But also, I'm aware that in various constituencies where you yourself you've been, I think you've spent much of your time in the field, collecting some information and also witnessing the voting process on Thursday itself until now, when we have seen that the official announcement at parliamentary level is also taking shape. So it's a fundamental, it's a very critical moment that Zambia is in right now, and therefore the anxiety is out there and the curiosity is inevitable, if you ask me.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting and at the same time disheartening because as a nation, we've recorded loss of lives. And then particularly one that really touched my heart is one that occurred within the constituency of Matero of a 57-year-old man who lost his life as a polling agent. He was a polling agent under a socialist party, and this particular man has left 3 kids behind and a wife. So having an election and people are losing life is quite saddening. This really has really touched my heart, and I feel like police really need to intensify their security just to make sure that everybody is safe.
Look, we have to be protected as a citizenry, number one, but also as a nation, we have to enjoy and continue enjoying the peace we have enjoyed for many years. Zambia, we have demonstrated. If you talk about Zambian politics, I think within the southern region, we are a shining example. But even beyond the southern region, just in Africa in general, we are a shining example of a country which has lived in peace for many years. And we cannot afford to lose that peaceful nature and peaceful blueprint that we've enjoyed as a country. Just I sympathize, of course, with that family. Of course, in Matero where you were, I did see the stories and the lamentations, which of course were shared even by the SP themselves. It's sad. Look, there's something which I believe myself that politics should not divide us. That's number one. Number two, Jesse, we should make sure that we do not lose lives or attack each other because I want to ascend to the position of being maybe a member of parliament or maybe ward councillor, mayoral, or maybe even the presidency. Because at the end of the day, if you are going to be elected, you, Jesse, as a member of parliament for constituency so and so, you need the very people to govern. You understand? So I think that can be avoided. Now it now gives me the reasons why maybe the commission took a very drastic decision yesterday to suspend the election process at counting and also announcing. All that, according to the commission, they were trying to maintain and also contain the security, threats which was discovered along the way. It's a very sad situation as we mentioned. Of course, not only that, just we have seen some, attacks, in some other constituencies. I think Southern Province that also happen, some forms of confusion. All that, I think it's something that should not be accepted. We can still vote as a country, can still elect our leaders without us really fighting. It's a sad story.
It is a sad story indeed. And even the suspension of the counting of results and the announcement of results has also added its own thing. And I do agree that ECZ they just had to make a decision because the atmosphere was becoming unbearable for some people, and even people that were only doing their duty. Like, for example, the deceased poor agent was just carrying out his duties and then ended up being attacked and being a victim of death during elections. And so that brings me to the point of Chawama polling station and other stations that have been reported of having missing ballot papers, people stealing ballot papers. So that on its own, people are anxious. They want to find out what is the way forward, what is ECZ going to do, what is the remedy concerning that. But ECZ, through CEO Mr. Kasaro, has actually informed us that once they get to that particular point, to that polling station, then they will be able to inform the nation of the kind of remedies that they'll put across, whether, well, I don't want to...
And the action they took as a commission.
Yes.
I agree with you. Very correct. And I think also a justification was given to us that the reason what's happened there. Yeah, the reason why the commission decided to suspend the announcement and also counting over those the results as of yesterday countrywide was basically to bring the country in one accord, as it were. Yeah, so this is where we are. And also, I love the synopsis you've given us, or the picture you've given us coming from the field where you were, Jesse. But also, let's touch a little bit in terms of where we are at Mungushi International Conference Center, which is the total center. I know that for the presidential, I know that Zambians are yearning to have that information. So far, Jesse, allow me to make mention that the commission has only managed to announce 4 constituencies out of 226 constituencies which the country has now. As you are aware that we previously had about 166 constituencies, and now the constituencies have increased following the delimitation which took place under the new constitution which we have. Hence now we are no longer talking about the over 100 constituencies. We're talking about 226 constituencies, which of course the commission, out of that, they have only managed to announce the presidential results coming from the 4 constituencies. And of course, among them, I know that there's a Pera constituency that is within Lusaka district, which is in Chongwe area about. Yeah, they have also gone to Northwestern Province in Mfumbwe. They have also, let me just go back to my notes so that I'm quite precise in terms of what we are highlighting to the viewers out there. So like I mentioned, there's a fairer constituency. Of course, they have also announced another constituency, which is Kundabwika constituency. There's also another constituency, which is Chisamba constituency. Chisamba is in Central Province, if I'm not mistaken. Jesse, you can correct me. So
in Central Province.
Central Province, right? Correct. So these are among the constituencies which have been announced, and as far as the elections, the results are concerned at presidential level. But not forgetting Northwestern as well. There is a Mfumbwe, district there. Another constituency has been announced in that regards, which is called Dombwe constituency in Mfumbwe district. Those results have been announced by the commission. So when you knock out 4 constituencies from the 226 constituencies, meaning that we're remaining with now 222 constituencies.
And that's quite a lot.
No, it's a lot of work.
It's too early to make judgments. And just in case, it is. And just in case you missed it, President Hakainde Hichilema is making the lead with 22,476 votes across the 4 constituencies. Then we have the second one, who is none other than Bran Mundabile, who is running up with 14,388 votes, while other presidential candidates have recorded significantly lower figures. Now, the results show Hichilema leading in all four constituencies. That's including 6,568 votes in Chisamba, 4,160 in Kundambwika, 4,900 in Luangwa Feira, and finally 6,848 in Ndongwe. So just in case you missed it, this is the the feedback and a replay of what has been going on for you to get a feel and have the zeal to wait enough around 13 hours and 20 hours for the next batches that will be announced by CEO, or maybe I'm mistaken, maybe it could be the chairperson.
Correct. Yeah, actually, those results were announced by different commissioners, which were franked, by the chairperson herself. I remember, Jesse and the viewers out there, that the chairperson, in my view, I think she will be the one who's now going to announce maybe the few last, results at presidential level, and which will ask her into the official declaration. Because remember that the declaration of a presidential president-elect, the powers lies in the chairperson of the commission. And this regards, there is the woman herself, the big boss, who is waiting for that moment to come. So I could see yesterday she was basically, giving some other constituencies to, for lack of better ways, the subordinates and stuff like that. Yeah, so those results were announced by the commissioners. I think Mr. Chipenzi was among those that managed to, who was given the privilege to make those announcements. There's also Mr. Sinkarazienji was also given that privilege to make those announcements as well in that regards. So that's what basically happened. And today, exciting, we'll be having another batch of, presidential results coming up at 13 hours. And another one will come in at 20 hours thereabout. So I think they are trying to beat time. Remember that the suspension of the process yesterday at counting level and the announcement level, also it took a little bit of some time. Remember they say time lost cannot be recovered. Yeah, so the commissioner has taken cognizance to all that. So they are working tirelessly to ensure that the right thing is done. Because Monday, they will have to declare, the country will have to know who is the president of Zambia, who is going to be the president-elect. Will it be President Akendeshama continuing to the next 5 years, or maybe to be Munduile, to be Harry Kalaba, to be Akim Jobu, to be, among others. So that's where we are.
I'm glad actually that you mentioned other presidential candidates, because most often it feels like this competition is about President Hakainde Hichilema and Brian Munduile, independent Roma candidate. That's under parliamentary level.
Correct.
Instead of presidential this time. That's why we're not getting the Chon Temple zero parts.
It's a sign of humbleness, if you ask me. You have to be humble. Sometimes you can contest at the presidential level, but when you see that your performance is not okay, be humble.
I'd like to reserve my comments on that.
So that's the thing. But however, look, you begin from somewhere. You begin, like in the case of Akim Job, is contesting or participating for the first time at presidential level. So he has to begin from somewhere. We're on air right now. Yeah. So you have to start from somewhere. You get a 0. Next time you're gonna get a 1. In the future you're gonna get maybe 2 and stuff like that. So it's just normal like that. Yeah. So I think it's a very good try for these other presidential candidates who are. But look, it's not yet over. Mind you, we still have 222 constituencies remaining. Who knows? They might catch up. Maybe. Just maybe.
Right. Okay. Being a reporter makes my ears to be all on.
Yeah.
Just right there. And I actually saw somebody who made a comment to say, I wouldn't like, at this point, I wouldn't like to mention the name, but say, if this particular presidential candidate pulls off and wins the election, we're going to add this miracle to the Bible.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's right.
Just you're becoming a problem slowly, stuff like that.
Really.
I know you haven't been sleeping, but
It's a
Wait
whole
for
lot.
that.
It's a whole lot. And one thing ECZ CEO Dr. Brown Kasaro
Yeah.
mentioned is that we need to take note of the trend of misinformation. You know,
Yeah.
people are beginning to alarm situations. You find this
Mm.
and this and this as so and so has lost their life when
Yeah.
it's in fact not even true. So
Correct.
take note of misinformation. If something does not is not verified by ECZ, don't take it as the legal announcement of results, whether it's on a presidential level, parliamentary, you know, just any results. Only
Correct.
take verified information that comes from ECZ. And
Yep.
ECZ did also mention that parliamentary results will be made from constituencies.
Correct.
So look out for the totaling centers are still active. Don't think it's only Molongoshi,
Yeah.
because they are the ones who are going to be announcing the parliamentary results.
Very true. And just to give much context to that, or more meat to that, what you have said, the results for members of parliament or parliamentary candidates are not announced, and they will never be announced from here. Here, they are only dealing with presidential. So if you want to know the member of parliament or the candidate who voted for at parliamentary level, you might have to look forward and also make a follow-up with the returning officers in those jurisdictions.
Yes.
And then they will tell you which MP is doing what and which MP has won in those particular areas. Yes, basically parliamentary elections. But I think you mentioned something very critical, which you've just reminded me about the sentiments which came and the caution coming from the CEO ECZ. Very important, aspect of misinformation, disinformation. Look, we need to understand that right now, where we are, Jesse, can assure you, the country is on its knees right now.
Literally.
Okay? On its knees, not because of confusion or whatever, but just, business is on a lukewarm, because people, they want to know what next again. I'll share with you that some shops have closed. Some, business houses have gone on holiday. They'll come back after the election. So therefore, we cannot afford, even us from the media, and I'm happy that I think as KBN TV, we've tried by all means to stick to the rules of the game in terms of sticking to what is prescribed. Only basing our analysis and also results coming from the commission. Those are official results. I know also one of the colleagues, I think, coming from the UPND Alliance, who also expressed concern that some media houses have been misleading the general public.
I think it's it's always wanting to be the first ones to announce.
You want to break the news.
Yes,
you understand?
You want to be the newsbreaker. That indeed we are the first ones to issue out this, but it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't work like that. They say better you delay and get the correct information than
and
you
like offering
to
an
break.
apology later on. No, we sincerely apologize.
And look, the more you'd want to rush to break the news, you might end up even breaking yourself. That's how it is in the media, But also, let's make mention to the viewers out here that sometimes we tend to blame the media and to brand the media together. Remember, there's a mainstream media where you've got professional men and women like you and I and several other colleagues. We also have the social media aside as well.
And they are the ones that are actually bringing out misinformation.
Yes.
Informant. What word am I trying to say?
Misinformation? That's the word you're looking for?
Yes. Misinformation always, because for professional journalists, they know their work.
Correct.
We know our work.
We know our work.
That's why we even today. But it's for bloggers mainly who want to attract a lot of numbers. And then ending up misinforming the nation at large.
Correct. And the more, when they mess up, the picture which will come out, it will be the media. You get a point? You'll be dragged into that mud. And yet the person or the people messing up the process is basically someone, one or two people from the social media side. Not that everyone who is on social media, they are fake. They are not journalists. They are not trained journalists. No. Some of them I've seen, they are my colleagues and my friends. I was with them in school some years back. Those are professional men. But some people are on social media, believe me, they have no clue whatsoever in terms of media ethics and what journalism looks like. So that's where the problem is coming from. So when we begin to attack the media and express concerns about misinformation, disinformation coming from the media, we must be able to distinguish, is it the social media or mainstream media? So that's where we are. But so far, in as far as the mainstream media is concerned, I think we seem to be doing what is right.
Yes.
I could be wrong or right. I know that the authorities are watching. They could be watching even now. But as far as from the day of the elections up to where we are, I think we have been pushing in the right direction. Look, I can't afford as a journalist, as a broadcaster, to wake up and just give fake information to inflame the country.
That can happen.
For what reason?
And for me, normally when people are talking about misinformation, I always know it's social media.
Yes.
And not mainstream media, because when you belong to mainstream media, you are accountable even to your superiors.
Oh, yeah.
So, and you have a brand. People don't look at you as a journalist or as a media practitioner. They look at you in association with your, maybe would say, with your institution.
Yeah.
Like if they look at you, they are seeing KBN. So I don't think that.
Correct. So we are trying to make, an emphasis based on what the CEO mentioned, cautioning the media and how we disseminate information, on how we communicate to the general public, especially at this critical hour, critical moment, when there's a lot of anxieties. People, everybody feels like they've won, including those who have mentioned that they got zeros in the 4 constituencies. If you go and I can challenge you, Jesse, go and walk into their offices today and ask them, you got zero in Mufumbo, you got zero in Infera. Are you winning? They'll still tell you that I'm the next president. You get a point? So who am I to come on TV and begin to say this person he has lost or he has won? It's not within my powers. That's what the commission is basically talking about. But also the commission made mention that the way we continue engaging the stakeholders. Remember, we've got several stakeholders, both local and internationally, who have been accredited to be part of this process. And I think in the last 2 days, there's been a huge concern, which I also brought forward to them, that they were unable to sit down and get people's feelings and feedback in that regard. Because, look, getting feedback, even you, Jesse, is important. You are a reporter, but you need to listen to other people. What are they saying about your report? It can't be you and yourself. The moment you report, then you go home and sleep and hoping that all is well. And that is a huge concern, which I think most of us expressed to the commission, that in the last 2 days, I think it was a bit, I will use the word disappointing, in that they were unable to get questions, especially when they suspended the announcements and the counting of results. They needed to open up the floor or a plenary conversation, question and answer session, and listen to the stakeholders. What are you saying? Let people, you know, those burning questions on you and burning issues on you, and know how to handle them. The moment you answer, you go home and sleep, because you would have spoken to someone, whether they believe you and your response you are giving them or not, is not within your powers, but you would have communicated. Why am I saying this, Jesse? It's because you and I, we are skilled. We were accredited to be here to ask questions and take note and get clarity in an event we're not clear.
Right.
Also, we've got international media houses who are here and part and parcel of this process. You know why they are here? It's not because they were here because to come and watch this a nice building where we are right now.
Wow, Zambia has got nice buildings.
Not at all. Not at all. But they are basically here, built by the Chinese, by the way. But they are basically here to take note and send news to their media houses regarding the elections taking place in Zambia. So it is imperative for the commission from time to time to communicate with them. I've watched and also covered so many, events, both local and international, in terms of, as far as elections are concerned. I think it is important for the commission to always engage the stakeholders.
Yeah, I do recall there was even a statement issued by different civil society.
Yeah.
And one that I do recall very well is one that was issued by Beauty Katebe.
Yes.
And she says she hopes that ECZ did a consultation, because if they didn't, then it's actually bringing an erode of mistrust to the nation. People will not be able to trust them enough to give us factual results.
Correct. Yeah, very true. In addition to that, again, Jesse, there's something I wanted to cite. You know that Malawi and Zambia, we are Siamese nations. We're sisters, you know, or brothers, as it were. They are our neighbor. And there's something about Malawi's election and how it was handled. I think the commission in Zambia, they can also, as a country, can learn something. There's a woman called, I think she could be the chairperson. If not the chairperson, could be, I think she's the chairperson, Annabel Mtalimanja. Annabel Mtalimanja was handled the Malawi election, which was held last year. But here's something unique I learned from there. She would go to the auditorium and read a statement or announce the results together with the commissioners. Later on, she would, before leaving, she would open a question and answer session. She would dedicate 1 hour, 2 hours, getting all the burning questions. And she was being queried, Madam Chairperson, Justice, she's a judge actually, Justice Annabel Mtalimanja, there is an issue coming from Lilongwe, for example, where there was a political violence. People were attacked. People have been arrested. What is your take over that? She would take time in a very calm manner, explain, and then she will ask you, are you satisfied with what the answer I've given you? No, I'm not satisfied. She will ask you again, can you ask again? I want to deal with you. When I'm done, I go to the next person. And she managed the process. Yes, it was tense, you know, the former president, Chakwera, and also the current president, Peter Mutharika. It was a tight, contested race. But she managed to handle the tension in that regards. How? Via stakeholder engagement. That is important. And I'm happy that today, the commission, through CEO Kasaro, they found it fit to come and have a conversation with the stakeholders, with the media, and also other political players. That is very important, because the moment you want to run away or to shy away from engaging stakeholders with question and answer, people begins to speculate, begins to accuse you. And there's nothing, they'll create fire or smoke where there shouldn't be smoke.
Commotion and violence.
Correct. So for me, I think I learned a lot from the Malawi elections, but of course, we can be a shining example. We can do better.
And even taking an example of what really occurred here, you would tell that as people were speaking, they're really coming out with emotions that were bottling up in themselves. And you know, common sense is that when somebody speaks out, even their emotions tend to reduce a little, because they've actually gotten a chance to express themselves. And one of the interesting scenes we had here, I wish we could show it to the viewers, is of a certain man who claims to have come out straight from bed in his pajamas and came here just to air out his concern regarding the announcement of the ECZ's final result. And I bet he was referring to the presidential result. That was quite interesting, though. It came in a little bit dramatic manner.
Yes.
But I guess he felt better.
Dramatic because he mentioned to you that he was coming from his bed. Yeah, and he came in a pajama. So dramatic indeed, as you mentioned. That is Ezra Ngulube. He's a president, actually, by the way. Did you know that?
I didn't, because I didn't even get a chance to look at his face.
Oh, I see.
I was literally sitting behind him. So I was only seeing him from behind. And then, but I could tell that this man is really bottling up a lot of emotion.
Yes.
And I really commend ECZ for not withholding him.
No, there was a lot of diplomacy from the ECZ on how they managed the situation. I think also, I love that the police officers, they also managed to, handle it in a very calm manner, because there'll always be people that will just pop up from nowhere with intentions to either, I'm looking for a very nice word, either be seen for the sake of being noticed, or if not, they just want to cause commotion. Okay? But I'm not saying that was the case of Ezra Ngulube. No, he was basically expressing his concerns. regarding on, it's suggesting on how the commission can handle this process. So of course, he was telling the commission that don't listen to these guys. They want to cause confusion and stuff like that.
He
Focus on the
wanted
election.
the ECZ not to offer an opportunity for stakeholders not to pose questions to them or his interest. He just wanted the ECZ to announce the results.
In my view,
that's it.
In my view, as a patriot, I will tell you one thing. It's a wrong submission.
It is.
You can't incite the commission that don't waste your time to listen to these guys.
It's actually
to ask
not
questions.
wasting time, actually.
No, it's not.
It's helping the people get answers that they've been having all along. And if the answers were not made right in this room, because every stakeholder in this room was asking on behalf of the nation. So I'm sure a lot of people who had burning questions got the answers from the stakeholders' questions.
Very
so
true.
It wasn't a waste of time at all. Though I know for him, his interest is just the presidential result. But it doesn't happen that way.
He holds his personal opinion, but as stakeholders from the media think, wow, that was a bit hard, and especially that he was shouting all over and stuff like that. But however, I love how Patricia Luhanga, the corporate affairs manager, and also the CEO and the entire team, how they managed it. They understand these emotions.
I actually kept looking around and thinking, a policeman going to come and just bundle him like a baby. But then nothing of such sort happened. And I think these guys are really professional.
Yes, they bundled him up. I think it was going to worsen the situation. So sometimes certain things, leave them like that, but allow people to speak. The way he spoke is gone. He will not come back and do the same.
Absolutely.
Perhaps maybe even where he's gone, people will tell him, okay, you had a valid point, but maybe you should have communicated in such a way. Maybe you should have gone in that auditorium with a pajama and stuff like that. Maybe, I'm just saying maybe, I'm not sure. But I think that's where we are, and we have to go. Remember, we've got a lot of work. We're still coming back at 13 hours. So we have to go. Thank you so much for coming through and for bracing the code, having worked the whole night.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right. Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much. Of course, on behalf of Peter Shtala, the director behind. Did you see what Peter was doing, by the way?
I did.
He kept signs.
Wind up.
Together with the two Rasta men we have, Peter and
Stop the one beat us.
Otherwise, thank you so much, dear viewers, for watching this particular update right here at Mlungushi International Conference Center, the center which has been identified by the Commission to be the official place for the presidential announcements. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again in the next few hours from now.